Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Now, the last time on this channel we talked about pedals was during the unboxing video for my first direct drive pedal. And that pedal that I unboxed in that video is sitting in front of me right now. This guy here is the Pro 1V Trick Bigfoot pedal. It's been 2 months since I first did that unboxing video where I actually unwrapped this guy for all of you to see. And since then, I've spent 5 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day, working on the hardest song that I've probably ever pushed myself to learn. It's been a collaboration with another YouTuber. It's not on YouTube yet, or it might be depending on the time of upload of this video, but if it's not, you'll see it all very soon. The tempo for that track was 235 beats per minute. The biggest reason why I told you in that unboxing video why I bought this pedal and why I decided to try it out is because the word is that these pedals are really fast, and we're gonna talk about that here today. What I found over the last 2 months, what I liked, what I didn't like, my overall impressions of this pedal, and of course, whether or not you should maybe consider picking this guy up depending on your personal drumming goals, where you want to see yourself in the future behind the kit. Now, getting into reviewing this guy, I want to break this pedal down into 5 categories. The first we're going to talk about is power. The second is going to be responsiveness. The third will be durability of the pedal. The fourth is going to be configurability. And then we're going to finish off with the 5th category, speed. Probably the one that a lot of you guys want to know about the most, because it's really the reason why I sort of jumped onto this pedal. So as I mentioned, the first section we're gonna talk about is power, and let's just dive into it. Basically, going into this pedal, the one thing I was nervous about was losing power. The reason why I was nervous about that was because I heard a lot of drummers tell me in the past that if you go to Trick Bigfoot, or if you go to Axis, or another direct drive pedal in that class, that you're going to suffer, you're gonna lose power, but definitely gain speed. And I found out that that's not really the case. It all just depends on how you sort of set it up. I didn't find any loss of power. I did a decibel test between my Speed Cobras and between the Trick Bigfoot, where I just sort of kept quarter note pulse on my right foot on the kick drum, that's it. And I ran the decibel test on my iPhone in the background. And here's the results. So let's first take a look at the Speed Cobra pedal. So you can see there it caps out about 97 decibels. Now let's take a look at the Trick Bigfoot pedal. And there we have about 98 decibels. So as far as volume, I know volume isn't like the best way to measure power, if you could even measure quote unquote power, because really it's more of just a feel in the pedal. But if you're looking for just like maintaining the same loudness level, the same decibel level for your kick drum, there's no real difference. At least having my 2 pedals set up similar to themselves. Like I have the Trick Bigfoot set up with a similar footboard depth, similar beater depth, similar spring tension, right? So if you dial everything in the way you want it to, really I didn't find any loss in power. If anything, what I found was straight out of the box, these were more powerful than when I did some tampering with them. I think that the stock settings are insanely powerful. I have 50-pound plates in front of each of the legs of my kick drum, and they were pushing the kick drum and those plates away from me, which was absolutely crazy. I was so nervous. I was like, well, what am I gonna do? Get sandbags to put on top of the plates? Like, how am I gonna hold this kick drum in place? So yeah, a ton of power here, but it all comes down to how you configure this pedal. You can make it so it's very weak and sort of very clicky and fast. The tighter you're gonna dial in the compression springs, the less power you're gonna have. At least that's what I found, because as the beater gets closer to the head, you now have a tighter compression spring pulling the beater back off the head and sort of trying to get it back to that like equilibrium, that point of rest, right? Like where it's sort of just chilling. So depending on how you set it up, you're going to definitely have more power, less power. It really just comes down to how you want to configure this guy. All right, cool. So let's talk about point number 2, responsiveness. This is the 10 out of 10, the most responsive pedal I've ever been on. I think it just has to do with how well these are built, the build quality in each of the parts, the fact that it has a compression spring system inside of it instead of an actual like loose physical chain as well. Of course, it has the direct drive. So all of those areas are just gonna add up to give you a very responsive, very clean, instant sort of feeling pedal. There's very few pedals that I think that could compare to this as far as responsiveness goes. There's that company out of Poland. I'm gonna butcher the name. I'm so sorry, guys. Here's the logo on the screen for you. A lot of drummers are switching to these pedals. I'm gonna try it. Chachish Kopicha pedal. There you go. I try my best. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so those pedals are actually really similar in design to the Trick pedals. It's difficult to get them in North America, and when I was looking at like what pedal to get as far as like speed and direct drive, they were on my radar because I know a lot of drummers that are playing those currently. I decided not to go with those guys over the Trick just because I knew a guy that had purchased those, and they make each one custom made for order, I believe. So it was taking like weeks, and I needed this pedal right away to get started on the project that I was working on. So that's why I didn't get those. The other thing too is, as I already mentioned, they're apparently kind of difficult to get in North America still because there's some kind of patent issue where there's a company in North America that has a patent here that they are sort of, they have a part that's similar to or something, so they can't get it here yet. I don't know all the details on that. That's kind of what I've just been told, word of mouth sort of thing. But yeah, so this pedal as well as that pedal, and given those sort of parameters with no chain, no physical exposed spring, like it's this compression spring system, just adds up to a really, really incredible responsiveness in the pedal itself. Next thing we're gonna talk about is durability. Now, it's hard for me to test the durability short of just taking it out to the street and beating it and seeing how long it lasts against maybe like a sledgehammer or dropping it off a building. I can't really do that because this channel is mostly funded by your donations. I don't really have the money aside to buy more of these retail. So we can't do that test with this guy, but I know word of mouth. I know guys who have had these pedals for 5, 6 years and they're like the day they bought them. The word is, according to what I've read online, what I've looked around at, they pretty much last you for life. And the warranty is pretty crazy on them too. Like you can get parts replaced pretty late in the game, not really have an issue going through Trick themselves. And they do make all of these parts on it separate for sale, just as most companies do, of course. And that's just gonna allow you to like replace what's broken if there's anything, but I don't think anybody's really gonna be able to say anything negative about the durability of these Trick pedals. They're pretty crazy when it comes to that. It's the kind of pedal where there's no squeaking in it. I doubt there'll ever be. And it's the kind of pedal where I can put it the drum set and never really have to do much maintenance on. I can just come back to the drum set and always be the way it was. Everything's sort of holding up. I don't have to be replacing springs. I don't have to be replacing chains. I don't have to be cleaning up rust. Just kind of like good to go every time I walk up to the kit. Next point I want to talk about is going to be the configurability of it. This pedal is so damn easy to configure. The spring tension itself is literally just controlled by this simple knob. Turn it right or left. You don't need to get out any tools. You don't need to get out a drum key. There's nothing involved with it. Just turn it with your hand. You can reach down at any time. You don't even have to get off the kit. You can just reach down, turn this knob. It's gonna add spring tension or reduce the spring tension depending on what you're looking for at the time. So incredibly easy to dial in. The footboard depth is controlled here along with the beater depth. The outside turning key is gonna be your footboard depth, and then the inside is gonna be the beater depth. You can see too that there's notches and ridges and even a numbered system so that you can dial in exactly what you want on both pedals. And they even have sort of these little notches. When you're moving the mechanism into place, it's gonna lock itself right on that notch. When you feel this sort of little of the notch fall into place, just tighten it on that guy and it's gonna stay on both sides. So easy to configure. You can take pictures of this pedal and send it to a friend and be like, here are my settings, done. And they can see everything visibly because of the numbered system, because it's all right in front of you. There's no issues when it comes to configuring this guy. It's the easiest pedal that I've ever configured for sure. The other thing too is both of these pedals, I don't know if you guys have seen the unboxing video, you saw me struggle with trying to figure out how this mechanism, the slave attaching to the main worked, because the slave pedal comes as a single pedal, just as the main pedal comes as a single pedal. So they come out of the box as single pedals, and there is so little work to turn them both into singles. Like if I wanted to get a second kick drum right now and have 2 singles instead of 1 double, I could do it in like 2 seconds. In fact, let me show you how that works real quick. So first thing I'm doing here is I'm just removing the drive shaft. Now that the drive shaft is off, all I have to do is take out this beater and slide it into this hole. And just like that, I have 2 singles. I don't think that there's a whole lot of pedals on the market that are that quick when it comes to going from double to single. Very impressive. I love the configurability of these guys. They work as singles, they work as doubles. Really simple, easy to read as far as dialing in your own settings. Your spring tension is just a knob turn away, right or left, whatever you want it to be. So overall, 10 out of 10 on configurability. Really love it. So last thing we're gonna talk about is speed of these pedals, and essentially they're really fast. I don't know, this review is turning into an endorsement. I'm not endorsed by the pedal. I didn't receive any money from the company to talk about these pedals. I just love them. They're awesome pedals. I think any of you who are looking to go fast and also maintain power, that play sort of metalcore to more like death metal stuff, definitely this is a great option for you, 100%. They're overall fantastic pedals. And now let me talk about the speed because I'm getting off track. I went to 235, as I mentioned. In the first month of my rehearsing this new song, I really focused on feet. In the second month, I really focused on my hands because I had to get my hands up to speed in some areas too. You'll see that video soon. But with these guys on the feet, after getting to 235, I went back to the speed covers and I tried speed covers at 235. I couldn't do it. I could not pull it off like I could with these. These pedals are just overall, I had an easier time sort of getting the higher tempos. But the thing about it is like I had to sort of step back and rethink about how I was approaching my pedal technique, my foot technique.
Want to leave a huge shout out to Adam Bjork. Thank you for being such a homie and answering all my questions and being patient with all of the questions that I hit you up with in regards to foot speed and technique over the last couple of months. You really helped me to get this cover done and to figure out how to go faster. So thank you. If you guys do not know who Adam is, make sure to check out his YouTube link in the description of this video. He is an awesome drummer here on YouTube.
And I made some strides in a different direction from what I'm used to get to really fast on these guys. I had to take my leg motion, instead of being sort of bury the beater every stroke using full leg, putting a lot of pressure in through my foot and heel with every stroke. I had to sort of stop my knee from bouncing and then make the pivot point in my leg my ankle, then engage the calf muscle in the back and then push forward with my toes at the back of this pedal or around the midpoint in the pedal. So like keeping my toes right around here and then pushing off of here. And I could get a lot of speed going as long as I was sort of flicking my foot like this. And yeah, that's how I did it. That's how I got to the speed, and I could only have probably done it with these pedals. One thing I noticed too is like in the unboxing video, it's like a lot of you were very frustrated with the fact that I was stating that I got these to go faster. A lot of you seem to believe that the pedal has nothing to do with it and it all becomes down to technique. I disagree with that. I don't know what to say. I've tried both now and that's not the case. These definitely help you go faster. There's no way. I mean, like, it's just physics involved with the pedal. Look at the footboard when the beater's moving. You see what I'm saying? Like the footboard could be up here and the beater could be down. They could be at different places in the swing on a chain pedal where that's just not possible on direct drive. It just makes it so that the motion, the amount of energy you have to put into this is like very little, and you can get it going really fast. Another thing that I want to talk about along those lines is I looked around and I couldn't find many drummers that were going very fast, like 220, 215, 220 and above, and maintaining those tempos without some sort of direct drive compression spring system. Most of them are on Axis, the Polish company Cobra, I can't pronounce that word, or Trick. Now there's examples, for sure there are examples of guys going really fast on chains. They're sort of outliers. It's not the majority. The majority of drummers that I've found, that I talk to, that I know, who are playing these much faster tempos, these faster songs with these long 16th notes runs, the majority of them are on these guys, or a version of the Trick pedals. I know Alex Rudinger plays this pedal, but he plays a low mass version. The low mass version of this pedal is essentially the same thing, but the foot plate is hollow instead of being one big piece of steel, and that's just gonna make so that there's not as much power in the pedal, but you can get like a lot faster out of the pedal itself when you go down to those low mass pedals. So in recap, this pedal has a ton of power. The responsiveness is 100%, 10 out of 10. Durability is 10 out of 10 as well. Configurability and speed are both 10 out of 10. I just love the pedal. It's 100%. The three things I'm gonna close with are one thing I would for sure change. The price is reasonable, I guess, but if you're gonna charge that much, please add a case. I don't understand this. Every other pedal of this class, whether it be more expensive or not, at least comes with a case. I have to travel, I have to go places with this pedal, and now I have to spend another, I think it's like 150 bucks here in Canada extra to get the case for these guys. I don't know, it would have been nice to have a case out of the box. The second point I wanna add is just along the lines of power again, and I forgot to mention this when we were talking about that at the beginning. A lot of the power from this guy is gonna come from how heavy this foot plate is. So you can go down to the low mass and you will sacrifice power, but then you can also get beater weights and that's gonna increase the power. Alex Ringer talks about this a lot. So yeah, that's an option. You can kind of pick and choose. They definitely have a few models I would check out on the Trick website, depending on what kind of player you are and what you're really looking to get out of these pedals. And the last thing I'm gonna conclude with is this right here. Those are all Velcro strips. These guys move a lot. So there's white Velcro strips up and down here, and I have the Velcro that actually comes with it, and then I have more Velcro strips across the top of the base plate here. I had to use all that Velcro to keep my slave pedal from moving. After putting all the Velcro on a carpet, I even then put a pair of leg weights in front of this pedal so it wouldn't slide. I didn't have to do as much with the main pedal, that's the slave pedal. I didn't have to do as much with the main pedal. I didn't put the strips on this guy. I just used the Velcro that they provided with the pedal. That plus my kick drum being held in place with two 50-pound plates at each leg kept it from sliding, so it was fine. But in order to keep these guys from not moving, you're gonna need a lot of Velcro. You're gonna need maybe some sandbags. They move, they slide around a lot just because of how heavy they are. And something I noticed before I put the Velcro on was the action, like the movement backwards. Like you can see this, even if I just, not having this fastened right now, just going like this. You can probably hear that. The back plate is just lifting up because there's so much motion, there's so much power, movement, force inside of that chain that's just sorry, not inside the chain, inside the spring that's really just rocking the boat on this pedal. So yeah, definitely gonna need to figure out a way to fasten these guys down. The Velcro that they provide, I didn't find to be enough. Maybe use like I did, some leg weights. Now outside of that, that's been it. Those are all really my thoughts on the pedal. I strongly recommend anybody getting this pedal if you're thinking about getting the pedal. I really hope you enjoyed this review video. Let me know in the comments below, what pedal are you using? And if you're thinking about getting these, why or why not? Maybe we can get a discussion going on some things that I haven't covered in this video. It'd be awesome to talk about that in the comments below. As always, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you want to support my channel, you could do so in the description below at my Patreon link, at my merch link. You can also connect with me further at my socials, which are on the screen for you right now, and as well, of course, always in the description below. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I will see you guys all very soon with something new.